The hospital said my husband has been visiting the cancer ward every evening. He told me he's working late. The billing department called on a Wednesday afternoon while I was folding laundry. Mrs. Garrett, this is Linda from County Memorial Hospital. We're calling about the parking validation charges that have accumulated on your husband's account. Over the past 4 months, he's validated parking 87 times in our oncology wing garage. Since these aren't connected to any patient visits or procedures under your insurance, we need to know if you'd like to pay out of pocket or dispute the charges. My hands froze mid-fold on one of Michael's work shirts. I said there must be a mistake, that my husband worked as an architect downtown and had no reason to be at the hospital. Linda's voice shifted from routine to concerned. The validations are all time-stamped between 6 and 9 p.m. on weekdays. The parking system logs show his license plate entering the oncology wing visitor garage. If he's not visiting a patient, we need to understand why he's accessing that area of the facility. I told her I'd call back and hung up with my heart hammering against my ribs in a way that felt like warning. Michael had been working late for months. Since January, he'd been coming home around 9:30 or 10, exhausted and quiet, saying the new downtown development project demanded overtime. He'd shown me architectural renderings, talked about difficult clients and permit issues, brought home takeout containers from restaurants near his office. Everything about his story had been consistent and believable. I'd never questioned it because we'd been married 8 years and I trusted him completely. But now I was staring at his freshly folded shirt and realizing I had no idea where my husband was spending 3 hours every evening. The oncology wing, cancer ward, visiting someone sick enough to be in that unit, someone he'd never mentioned to me, someone he was seeing every single weekday for 4 months straight. The mathematics of deception were adding up to conclusions I didn't want to reach. I called his office. Garrett Architecture, this is Denise. Michael's assistant had a voice I recognized from company holiday parties. Hi Denise, it's Claire. Is Michael available? A pause that lasted 1 second too long. He's not in the office right now. Can I take a message? I kept my voice casual despite the anxiety clawing at my throat. Do you know what time he'll be back? I need to ask him about dinner plans. Another pause. Mrs. Garrett, Michael usually leaves around 5:30. He's been keeping regular hours lately. The big project wrapped up in March, so things have been pretty quiet. My vision tunneled. Right, of course. I must have confused his schedule. Thanks, Denise. I hung up before she could hear my voice break. Michael had been lying to me for months, leaving work at 5:30 and not coming home until 10. 4.5 hours unaccounted for. 87 visits to a cancer ward. Someone was dying, and my husband was there every evening while telling me he was working late. The obvious conclusion was an affair. Some woman in the oncology wing, a patient or a nurse or a doctor, someone Michael was visiting under the guise of work obligations. But that didn't fit the pattern. 87 visits over 4 months meant he was going every single weekday without fail. That wasn't the behavior of a casual affair. That was the behavior of someone deeply committed to being present for something. Someone keeping vigil. I felt sick thinking about Michael sitting beside another woman's hospital bed, holding her hand, being the support person he should be for me. But we weren't sick. Our life was healthy and stable. We'd been trying for a baby for 2 years without success, but that was our only struggle. Everything else had been fine, hadn't it? I replayed the past 4 months looking for signs I'd missed. Michael had been quieter, more withdrawn. He'd been tired constantly. I'd attributed all of it to work stress. Now I wondered what else I'd been blind to. I needed information. I called the hospital back and asked for the oncology wing nurses station. A woman answered with professional warmth. 4th floor oncology. This is Nurse Patricia. How can I help you? I took a breath and lied. Hi, my name is Claire Garrett. My husband Michael has been visiting someone in your unit, and I'm trying to find out which patient so I can send flowers. He's been going every evening, but he's been so busy he forgot to mention the room number. Patricia's voice became careful. I'm sorry, but I can't provide patient information to callers. If your husband is visiting someone, he would need to give you that information directly. I tried another approach. I understand privacy rules, but I'm his wife. Can you at least tell me if there's a patient under the name Garrett, maybe a family member? A longer pause. Ma'am, I really can't discuss our patients, but if your husband has been visiting regularly, our volunteer coordinator might be able to help. Let me transfer you. The volunteer coordinator's name was Tom. Mrs. Garrett, I can confirm that your husband has been volunteering in our oncology wing since January. He comes every weekday evening from 6 to 9. He's been working with one of our long-term patients who doesn't have family in the area. My breath caught. Volunteering? What kind of volunteering? Tom seemed to choose his words carefully. He visits with a patient, reads to them, talks with them, keeps them company during evening hours when most patients are alone. It's one of our most valuable volunteer roles. This particular patient has been with us for several months, and your husband has been remarkably consistent in his support. I felt reality tilting. Who is the patient? I asked. Tom said, full story is linked below or on my channel.